Good evening, everybody, and I hope you guys are all enjoying your wonderful day. I do apologize for the later upload. I was playing tennis and I just got home. But in this video, we're going to be talking about, of course, the same thing as we did yesterday, but just an overall update on the extremely deep Arctic blast and invasion to come into the eastern and central United States by Monday of next week. And it's going to bring a really deep freeze and possible 30s as far south as Florida as well, watching out for the chance for extremely large areas of low pressure that can very well possibly bring in some snow the days before Thanksgiving. We'll be as well talking about who can see the best travel conditions and where we'll be seeing the worst conditions for travel. All of that will be coming up in this video. But without further ado, let's get in the forecast. So the first thing I want to do is obviously get a look here at the overall 500 millibar high on the latest 18Z GFS, and there's actually a lot of differences, and actually it's going to involve me having to maybe push my screen this way so you guys can actually see it better, because let's just say this overall extremely strong trough and negative tilted open wave area of low and the dip in the jet stream is going to really start to push really further southward compared to yesterday. So let's now get a look at the overall ridging pattern we're experiencing right now. So by Saturday, which is basically in around 3 days, or it's about to be 2 days, they're obviously going to be seeing a very weak ridging pattern across the eastern United States. It's going to be so weak that we're still going to be seeing it involved within very cold temperatures. So we're still going to be seeing below average temperatures across the weekend for the eastern United States, but it's going to be just not too noticeable. But here comes that really strong trough. You can kind of tell it's already starting to overall dip here and kind of really amp up as it gets closer towards Sunday. And that's when I start seeing this cooler air really significantly dropping at a drastic rate across the Midwest. Again, we're going to start basically seeing single digits to possibly even negative digits as the overnight lows, as its trough is going to bring a massive Arctic blast, because this is actually going to be coming in from the Arctic Circle, and it's going to make its way to the south. So it's basically going to be our first Arctic blast of the year. Going to start seeing some really intense ridging across the western United States. Going to start seeing a positive PNA pattern starting to set in place, and then that very weak ridge moves out in the eastern United States by Sunday. And like by Monday, this thing really dips quickly into the United States here. I mean, look at that. This is going to be more towards an open wave trough. You can kind of say it really dips, I mean, into the heart of the Great Lakes by Monday. And then by later Monday evening, this thing really just kind of just covers across much of the eastern United States. And then you see that really strong ridging. So it's going to be very warm and dry conditions for the early part of Thanksgiving week, and a very cold, and possibly in some areas it will be a wet start towards the week here. But again, you can see an extremely strong trough and kind of just going straight through the Great Lakes. So we're going to be seeing like really cold temperatures across like the Great Lakes. And look at this, completely different than yesterday. Yesterday we were looking at it kind of going straight into the northeast, but now it's dipping a lot further to the south. So this is actually favor a really cold a really cold, really cold early start. And this could actually as well inhibit maybe or probably allow us to see our first freezing temperature in Florida of the year, which is pretty early to see that just before Thanksgiving. That's really rare. I mean, look at this really strong trough, how it just really dips in the jet stream. It's a very amped up trough as well. This is probably one of the most amped up troughs I've seen at this time of the year across this area. I mean, look how crazy that trough is. I mean, that is going to bring in, we're talking 20s and probably upper teens across portions of the southeast here. I mean, we could very well see a chance for some snow across the Appalachian Mountains on Tuesday, but this is going to not be fun, because my family from Miami, which is obviously very warm, is going to be arriving on Tuesday. So they're going to be kind of coming in as they're going to be arriving in the morning. So it's going to be basically in the 20s when they arrive. I mean, this is a really big update that's going to really allow for a lot colder temperatures to actually be experienced all across the eastern United States, and not just the Northeast being the hearth of it. It's actually now be really just dipping to south. You can see that blocking high right there. So it's going to keep a very weaker trough up by Tuesday across the upper northwest and Pacific Northwest. But that is a really, I mean, look at this trough. Look how strong that trough is. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything amped up like that. I mean, this is a really intense system. I mean, if we had moisture convection in the cold front ahead of this, we'd be seeing a monster nor'easter. And I mean a monster nor'easter, because this is a really strong area of low. I mean, we're talking like 970 millibars once it goes out to sea. This is going to be a really intense system, and gosh, this is gonna be really fun for the Eastern United States. I mean, let's just say I'm gonna really enjoy this colder weather. And let me actually show you guys a very quick look now at the upper winds. You guys can just kind of tell by 500 millibar how amped up this trough is. I mean, look at that trough. I mean, this is Monday. Let's get towards Tuesday. Look how amped up this trough is. We're going to be basically seeing 95 to 100 knots in the upper levels. Or the mid levels of the atmosphere. So this is absolutely crazy. I mean, if this were to happen with a really good area of low, closer to the trough and more moisture convection, and obviously colder air not having to speed up like that. And obviously, there's many factors to why this won't be a monster system. It will be a monster cold front. We're talking we could very well break records across portion of the eastern United States, but it's not going to become a monster nor'easter or a monster blizzard because of the lack of moisture. Also, because this cold front does take too long to catch up. And also, the system's way too fast moving, so the cold front cannot catch up and all that good stuff. But let's now look at the overall dynamic tropical oh my gosh, I blinked out. Pressure. So you're going to be seeing the blues. That's going to be the actual trough itself. And look how amped up that trough is by Tuesday. I mean, it's just spiraling deep into the eastern United States. I mean, look how intense that is. And there you see that really strong ridging across the central United States and western United States. But look how intense that is. That is absolutely mental. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything so amped up trough-wise in this part of the United States at this time of the year. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely mental. I mean, that's this like if this were to happen like in April or April, March, this would be like a monster severe weather setup with this trough and the overall monster low pressure that's most likely to be bomb out at the sea. So this is a just monster system that's definitely going to bring in some really nasty weather conditions across the New England and Northeast areas, which I'm going to be talking about later on in the video. So here's by Sunday, there's that really strong Arctic blast still in Canada at this point, bringing in around 30 to 35 degrees below average. Still a really strong ridging across the central and eastern United States on Sunday. But like I said, it's going to drastically change the temperatures across North Dakota. I mean, look at this. We're going from 15 degrees above average in 84 hours out on Sunday. This is going to be Sunday morning. And then by basically, let's go back here. Let's see here. By basically, exactly 24 hours later, it's going to be now around 20 degrees below average. It's basically a 30-degree difference. Really, really cold there. We're going to get to areas of spots of over 30 degrees below average across portions of central Canada. And then, of course, now we're going to be seeing some really intense warm air as it's really getting pushed off by that cold front. It's going to be Monday, so still going to be seeing some warm highs on Monday, and then later, boom, we get this rushed cold front. I mean, it's going to be like 30 to 35 degree differences within a day across some of these areas. I mean, we're going to be seeing around 20 degrees below average across the southeast United States and across the Tennessee Valley, and then getting up to possibly 27 degrees below average across portions there of the Appalachian Mountains, probably into the upper teens. But look how this cold air really rushed into Florida. I mean, we're talking all the way down in Florida. So even my family didn't leave from Miami. They still be experiencing some really cold air. I mean, look at Miami getting around 21 degrees to 23 degrees below average. And then it stays really cold across Florida. We may even get to 30 degrees below average. So we may see 30s get as far south as like Orlando and Disney. So if you're going for Thanksgiving to Orlando for a nice warm trip, it's not going to be a nice warm trip. You might as well just go to Disney World or Disneyland in Los Angeles. That's where it's gonna be really warm. But I mean, we're gonna see some really deep cold air. I mean, all the way down to like the Gulf of Mexico, all the way down to Cuba, even all the way down to Yucatan Peninsula. I mean, it's gonna be like a monster cold front. Like I showed in my surface map yesterday, there's gonna be like a cold front stretching from the Great Lakes down to the Gulf of Mexico with no warm front, no occlusive front. It's going to be just a monster cold front. And then this cold air will still stick around by Thanksgiving. So actually, in the past few days, this cold front is actually expected to stay a lot longer than it was forecasted a few days ago. It is not forecast to be as fast as the front as it was forecasted. So it's actually most likely to still bring in cooler air until Thanksgiving. At forecasted early in the week, it was actually not going to even bring in cooler air by Thanksgiving. It's going to move out by Wednesday. But let me actually show you guys very quickly here the overall temperature change. Let's actually go to the east real quick. So you guys, let me actually move my screen. There we go. I want to show you guys the temperature change in the past 24 hours. So 2 meter temperature change in the next 24 hours. So let's go towards really, I want to go to the really southeast. That's really a dramatic difference. I mean, look at that 30-degree difference in 24 hours across Alabama. 30, 31, 33. And then look at Florida, going to get around 30 degrees below, 30-degree difference and as well in 24 hours. I mean, look how cold that is. I mean, we're talking 30 plus degree difference within 24 hours. That's going to go all across the eastern United States. We're going to be seeing at least a 16-degree difference in 24 hours, and that's the fact that it's so widespread. Look how like noticeably the worst of it is going to be in the deep south, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, the Carolinas, Tennessee, up towards obviously Florida, the Outer Banks. I mean, it's going to get really, really cold. Let's see the overall difference in the overall real-time temperatures, though. So obviously this week it's going to get really warm. The highs tomorrow are going to be pretty warm. I actually got up to 75 today, according to my weather station, which is absolutely way above average. So going to get up to the 80s across the southeast coast tomorrow morning. Or sorry, tomorrow afternoon. And then obviously we start to see that minor cold front coming in this weekend, and to get now some cooler air across all the eastern United States and central United States. Going to be seeing some pretty large areas of a pretty large radius of below freezing temperatures. It's going to get as well into the 30s as low as Alabama, Mississippi, as well as Louisiana. So it's going to be a decent cold front, not going to be too shabby. And then, like I said, we're gonna skip around through Saturday, and we're also gonna be seeing some warmer air by the highs. We're gonna be seeing some really cold lows in the overnight lows, but the highs will get pretty warm still, into the upper 70s across the Gulf Coast. So still really warm because of that how weak that ridge is. But there you start to see that cold front pushing in now. There's a significant cold front. I mean, look at that, in 12 degrees across Minnesota, and we go to like, if we go to really later this week, obviously gonna be getting into. Really barely getting into the lower 20s, but as we get now by Sunday, of course, going to be seeing a massive difference in weather. Going to get now into the teens, and then a day after, getting to the low teens and upper single digits there. So here's the look at the highs on Sunday. Look at these highs on Sunday. Just picture this. All these areas, let me actually highlight, all these areas are going to be above 60. So all these areas are going to be above 60. Just picture this mine right here. Just see how warm it is on Monday, the highs, and then if we go towards now the Monday morning lows, or sorry, Monday cold weather in the morning, and then we go to Tuesday morning. Look at these lows, and let's look at the highs on Tuesday. Look at these highs, not even getting out of the 40s, and even barely getting out of the 50s across these areas that are getting in the 60s and almost 70s, just basically a few days before. But you can see how cold it's going to be on Tuesday morning across the deep south, getting up to 33 degrees close to Pensacola. I mean, 30 freezing as far as basically areas near Gulfport, Mississippi there. Getting into the teens across the Appalachian Mountains, getting really, really cold. I mean, this is really widespread cold area. I mean, we're getting basically freezing all across I-95 corridor. This is some really, really darn cold there. And of course, as we now get later on now by Wednesday morning, and the high is not even going to get out of the 40s for my area on Tuesday, but still really cold now, getting to 34 across areas near Pensacola, and it's going to continue to get really cold now up to 33 near Jacksonville, like in the mid 30s across Orlando. I'm going to get into the teens across the Carolinas. Really, really, really cold there. And then obviously it's not to make its way to the north by Thursday. Obviously Thanksgiving Day is going to get pretty cold, and then it will start to see a minor warm up the day after Thanksgiving. Let's see the overall opportunities for snow. So like I said, there's going to be some pretty large monster low pressure, obviously embedded within this area of trough, a really strong trough. So the first one's going to be Monday. It's going to be pretty far to the north. There's that cold front. All that really rainy weather is going to be to the east of that cold front, so it's going to be really somewhat chilly rain across Monday, and that really heavy snow is going to stay to the north of that low pressure, because that's where that colder air is actually going to be located. So some good snow across the upper Great Lakes on Monday, maybe some good snow for Marquette, some good snow for Traverse City, because those areas are going to be behind the cold front, because the cold front is going to be right here. So there is going to be in that really deep cold area advection, while we see that the areas along the cold front will just be getting some nice, good old rain. And then as the low pressure backs up, we could very well see some scattered lake effect snow, as eventually, of course, by Tuesday morning, the cold front is going to be all the way over here along I-95. So Really cold there Tuesday morning all across, again, the southeast, deep Dixie into the Great Lakes. So all that remaining moisture could bring some lake effects as well. We could watch out for some significant flooding Monday and Tuesday across the I-95 corridor and even to Wednesday, as we're going to be seeing multiple areas of low pressure. And then obviously, we're going to be seeing multiple low pressure or smaller low pressures kind of develop along that cold front, and they're going to be kind of rotating clockwise or counterclockwise. So could very well see eventually by Wednesday, I believe it's going to be Wednesday morning, it's going to be very cold eventually because that cold front's going to be far to the east at this point. So any of that moisture will bring in some really good snow across New England, some good snow there for Long Island, really, really heavy snow across New England. It's going to last kind of towards Wednesday, and then possibly maybe some snow mix and snow Thanksgiving morning, because obviously there has not really been too much consistency with this. Let's get the overall total accumulation though, rainfall wise. Like I said, could get some really good rain across off the coast, but as well in towards Maine, because Maine, these low pressures are going to get really close to Maine and kind of spin back to the north. So Maine's probably going to get the heaviest snow and the heaviest rain. So the coast of Maine will get the heaviest rain, and obviously the northwest and north central part of Maine will get the heaviest snow. Could very well get up as high as 10 inches of rain because it's going to be multiple areas of low at the very same time. And then obviously this rain is going to be all the way from here all across the east because of that Monday and Tuesday cold front. And snowfall accumulations, according to the GFS, actually getting some snow for New York City, getting up towards 5 inches across New York City, as well as some good snow across the upper New England. But obviously it's not been consistent, so we're not going to really get into depth about that. But really uptrend, I'd say, at least, on this cold front and Arctic blast. It's going to get really bone-chilling cold.